Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Ellen. So like I said last week, I'm going to do a series on Fridays for a little bit about how to use certain brushes, how you use them, just give you techniques on brushes and painting florals using these brushes. Today we're using the lovely cat's tongue brush or oval brush. You know, they call it oval brush, but most people call it a cat's tongue brush. I have a Princeton Neptune series one here and a Princeton Aqua Elite here. The Aqua Elite's a little stiffer than the Neptune series, but they're both similar. The Neptune is a little bit more of a triangle shape than the Aqua Elite, which is more of like a real oval shape, but very, very pointy. We're going to create this lovely little floral here in the pumpkin. The pumpkins are great using this. You can make like, it's basically, I tell you, it's like making a parentheses, right? So first we'll go over how to use the brush and ways to use the brush and how to hold it and handle it. And then I'll go over this lovely design and paint that and talk about what you can use this brush for. So if you were like walking in the store, like, what the hell, what do I do with this thing? There's a lot of things you can do with it. You can make wonderful stems and leaves and petals, and even the pumpkin, like I go over. So if you're ever curious about a cat's tongue brush, this is the video for you. So let's get started. All right, so I'm going to just go over some supplies that I'm using for this little practice here. This is Fabriano's 100% cotton cold pressed paper. It's in a block, it's 7 by 10 inches. You can get them in bigger sizes too, and even smaller sizes. So this is a cat's tongue brush that I have from Princeton. It's the Neptune series. It's a 1/2 inch. They call it a 1/2 inch oval, but we call it a cat's tongue brush. Another one is from Princeton, the Aqua Elite. So this is their oval wash, but to me it's a cat's tongue brush again, almost, because it's super point they have on here. The Aqua Elite is a stiffer brush than the Neptune series, more floppy on this one, a little stiffer on this one. And you can see the difference. This is more like a real true pointy oval. This kind of goes in a little bit more like a triangle. So we're just going to loosen up some watercolor here. And I'll loosen up some yellow, cadmium yellow deep, and I'll grab a little bit of orange. So I like this. This brush is great for making sunflower petals, a bunch of other flowers, and leaves and stems. Because of that point, you could great stems. It's a great leaves. So the practice again, I always hold it kind of here, like you're like drawing, writing with the pen or something like that. And it's a push down again, the compound stroke, and pull back. And you pull back shortly, you have like a short end. There's no point in the end. If you push down and pull back and like twist it a little bit, you get the point. Or you don't even have to twist it. You can just kind of pull back and go like that. Just lift up. So this is the movement. Pushing down and pulling back, right? Let me zoom in a little bit. Right? So you just push and lift. It's like a wee. And so you can kind of twist it a little bit. Twist it. You have to play with your brushes. This is what the series on Fridays would be about. Playing with the brushes and creating the strokes from the brushes. Right? Obviously, there you go. So you can make great sunflowers. Just pushing down, pulling, and kind of going around here. Because they're nice and pointy. It's any kind of pointy flower petal that you'd like. This is a great brush for that. If you can't really see the pointy petal, let me make a darker color here with some orange. So here, you make some great petals. It doesn't have to be sunflowers. I've made chrysanthemums, a bunch of just a simple kind of daisy type flowers with this brush. Go ahead and make some greens. I always just grab a little Prussian blue and a little bit of yellow to make my greens. Simple colors right there. So very nice point. You can make a stem with that and make nice leaves. Really kind of simple leaves. So if you had a stem, look at those beautiful leaves. This way or that way. See, I'm kind of twisting my brush. Play with twisting. See how I'm twisting? See my fingers moving? I'm moving, I'm rolling the brush. Roll, 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 roll the brush. I mix it with the orange. So again, the compound stroke, push down, pull back, or push down this way, or roll this way. Has a great big belly, so it holds a lot of paint, right? A lot of nice wet paint. So this is the oval brush, similar. So this oval brush, which is similar to a cat's tongue, basically a cat's tongue brush. It's just a little stiffer than the Neptune series. So the way you use it make a big difference. You can still push down and pull back, but I'm gonna have to add more water to it to get a little bit looser like the other one was. But you can get similar brush strokes, just like that. Nice pointy leaves, just kind of moving the brush around, all that good stuff. Also makes great stems. I'm just gonna grab some browns here. This is burnt sienna and some burnt umber. I'll mix with, make brown, paints gray. So just using the point, kind of twisting it, and you make these great stems. Now both these brushes I would never recommend for doing like a wash for a sky. They're great for leaves and stems and flowers. We wanted to use different types of brushes for those skies and washes, a rounder brush, a flat wash brush, things like that. We'll get into that. Like I said, each week I'll delve into different brushes and how to use them. I just thought this one's a really kind of fun one, and if you were curious, especially this time of year, we can make some great stems. See, I'm making these great stems. And then if you just take your brush, clean it off, and grab, I don't know, like a red color, if you were making some berries or whatever, you kind of, I mean, it will kind of wreck the brush a little bit, but you can kind of just push down and kind of wiggle in a circular motion to get a circle for a berry. You just manipulate the brush. So you can use it in many different ways. That's just one way. I'm puddling up this paint, but you get the idea. You just kind of wiggle into the circle, very lightly touching the tip of these branches here for the berries. And of course, again, it's great to use nice stems and nice leaves, etc., etc. So I want to go into a tutorial making simple flowers and stems, kind of in autumn, since we're in that autumn phase. Sunflowers or other flowers, daisies, using the cat's tongue brushes, just playing here. See, you gotta play. You can keep painting over what you painted, so you're not wasting paper. And I always recommend, please, 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 use good quality paper that you would paint for a final painting to practice with, because you're not going to know how it's going to react on the paper, how much water you need. These are all very important things to know, especially when you're painting. Quality products are a big deal in watercolor. I would say they're really big deal in watercolor, really big deal in oil paint. Acrylic paint, you can get away with some not so great paint, not with watercolor, not with the oil. You really need to have good quality. Probably because acrylic has, a little more plastic. It's just different. But I still use different types of good quality acrylic paints too. And the paper is huge, huge, huge in anything watercolor. I use 100% cotton paper. Please do not, if you're using this paper that's not cotton, you're not going to grow, you're not going to get better doing watercolor, because of the fact that you're going to have a hard time trying to play with that paper. And some papers are thirstier than others, like an Arches paper is much more thirsty, and this one has a bigger tooth for the cold press. Bohang, same thing. So you got to play with all those different types of paper. Those are really good quality papers. So now that we've played with this, see, I'm just keep moving around, and I can go back and do another layer of the petal and make short movements here. You got short stems. I push down bigger ones, little teeny ones. I'm getting little teeny daisies. Let's do a tutorial on a little lovely autumn floral. So let's just draw a simple kind of wonderful composition. I didn't show how to paint pumpkins, but I show you right now. And we can draw some pumpkins with some flowers, and I don't always draw everything out I use the brush for it, but I might want to just rough out in a sketch where to place things. So put a pumpkin here. Now, there's a million tutorials on drawing pumpkins, but really kind of simple. Pumpkin here, put a little stem. Maybe I'll add a little tinier one over here too, like a baby pumpkin. Right? And then I think I'll place a sunflower here and some kind of other flower here, and then I'm going to kind of branch out here. If I don't want to draw in the elements, because I want to use my brush to be the the pencil. So just rough in the pumpkins, and then everything else I'll organically paint. That's kind of how I roll. And you can start whichever one you want to start with first. You can start with the pumpkin, you can start with the flowers. I can start with the sunflower. Again, I'm using that Neptune series oval brush. I got a little green on there. It's a floppy brush. It's one of my favorites. And I'll add a little brilliant orange to it. This is cadmium yellow deep. And the consistency of the paint, I talk about this all the time. This is about water control and consistency. And it's like, would be the same consistency of like coffee, right? So it fills in this brush right in here, ferrule. It's all filled in here. And again, just gonna push down and pull back, little short pullbacks to get the nice little sunflower. And I can turn it on the side to get some skinny ones. You see that? And I don't do a head-on one like it's facing forward. I kind of have a couple petals kind of flowing into it. It just seems more interesting instead of this, like, it looks kind of fake sometimes when it's that way. And that's my first one. Now that you have the tools to paint, I'm going to erase all those little wonderful marks there. Again, you're going to just push down. It's just really fast and quick. I find the faster you paint and the quicker you paint, the less you get in your head, and you really create some really beautiful designs. So that's the first wash, because we want to do some layering with the sunflowers. And I would think you would always want to do in threes. So let's have like one that's kind of out here that's not open. And we're just putting the short little petals kind of on this side, like so, and then leaving the bottom like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got 3 elements of that. You can take the wonderful brilliant orange or cadmium red light and mix it in with the yellow here. And we have a wonderful orange color for the pumpkins. So I didn't talk about how to hold a brush for that, but you kind of hold it on its side and make this movement like this. So here we go, hold it, and kind of, again, and then pull back. And you already have that simple shape filled in real quick. Look at that. It's just like sideways parentheses, if you think about it. It's a parenthesis, right? But only it's pumpkin. So you're just kind of curving it, lifting up, and wherever it kind of it doesn't finish on the bottom, just kind of fill it in. Curve it and just kind of fill it in. Look how fast that pumpkin was painted with a cat's tongue brush. Really simple. Again, I would leave it to dry, and we'll put layers of and values of color. I wouldn't do orange upon orange upon orange, but so now I'm not going to do a pumpkin up here, but I want to take the color and see how this is a kind of in a triangle. You want to put the color in a triangle. So we'll just make just a wonderful bloom that's orange kind of up here. Short little strokes, create kind of a little daisy. You can curve it. It can be a daisy or almost like a chrysanthemum. And look at this, little strokes, just using the tip of my brush. I'm barely touching the paper. It's kind of like dancing on the paper. Look at that. Tap, 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 little taps. Create like a fuzzy little beautiful flower. It kind of looks like a chrysanthemum. We'll call it that. Right? So there's a triangle. And if you want to put a little short one over here, maybe a little bit darker orange, adding some red. We'll do another little short one here. Already we have the bones for a beautiful design. It's just making these little short stubby strokes. A little fuzzy kind of flower right there. This is still drying, so we don't want to go in there and touch that. While we're waiting, we can make some stems. I'll grab my burnt umber. I can mix a little Payne's gray with that to make a deeper brown. And we'll make some stems, again, using the tip. So connect it, pull little stems here. Connect, this is gonna be obviously green for the stem for the sunflower, but we're gonna add some brown stems. We can use the brown for the pumpkin here, and put some out here. Really kind of use your brush in a very delicately holding way, see? And I'll put some out here. And then you can do some push down, pull back little leaves with the brown, or you can make a leaf. So we can kind of push down, pull back, and add little lines to make it like a pointy kind of funky leaf. Look at that. Another leaf. And a stem. Very nice fall colors here. We're building slowly a lovely little, it kind of looks like a wreath, but like an open, wonderful little design, right? Already you've got the bones there. Don't let this stuff go to waste. I think a little bit more yellow in this color here. It should be somewhat dry. Let's see. If not, it will blend. It's not dry. This one's dry. So we'll do another layer on top with some deeper yellows. Now don't do the same thing everywhere. Kind of in some spaces, not everywhere. So you have kind of a layering situation. And you can add some orange while it's wet, bleed some of that color in there, or a little brown. And bleed a little brown and get some definition going in here. So the sunflower is more nuanced than what it was. I don't want to do too many skinny ones. I put some bigger petals pushing down, and I can go back in and add some burnt umber or another color and just kind of tap at the bottom where it meets the center. Let it bleed a little bit. Give it some more interest. Look at that. This one's still damp, but we can play with it. Let's see. Push down. If you want it more yellow, do more yellow, less browns or oranges. I'm going in here, adding another layer of color. And while that color is wet and damp, I'll grab, like I said, the burnt umber and Payne's gray a little bit. Don't too much, just or even some orange. Just tap the bottom of it, let it blend a little bit. You'll get that with the black too, but I don't want it so black in there. Adding a little orange. See a messy little orange here. It can be bright and brilliant, or it could be a little dirty. It's up to you how you want to do it. Okay, just filling that in. A little dance. And of course up here, more color. It can be more bright yellow than the orangey yellow. And then we can play with this wonderful fuzzy flower. I'm adding some thicker orange here. Again, just little short strokes. A little thicker paint. The paint is more in the consistency of cream. And here, a little bit deeper orange. I can add some more red. Cadmium red light. Now with the pumpkin, same thing. A little deeper color. I wouldn't do it everywhere. Maybe just some area, see? Just get some deeper value in there. We're just doing a loose painting, really quick. This should not take a long time. Just playing with this. I'll add a little orange in this. And this guy over here is bleeding a lot, but that's okay. All right, we're gonna move on to greens. My go-to for greens, I always just start with the cadmium yellow deep, and you could use peacock blue or Prussian blue. Peacock blue is gonna make a bright Kelly green. So here's the peacock. I'm grabbing a little bit of that. Or a chartreuse green. And the Prussian blue is going to be more of a blue-green. And I always kind of I kind of just take away that bluish tone by adding either a burnt umber or burnt sienna. And it just dulls it down. And the more blue, and I'm adding more burnt umber. So look at that nice deep green, which is great for the sunflower. So you kind of hold it on its side, kind of fill it in there. Nice little deep green leaf kind of coming out here. Sunflowers have the deeper, darker green. I'll add some green here, and then you're just pushing down and twisting, pull back. Again, play with that movement of your brush. Just like that. If you have to move your paper, move your paper. Just like so. And then bring it back and see where you've gotten little greens, like so. And I might just go over this brown one, put in a dark green in here. Now we don't want just one kind of green. Like I said, I mixed these other greens. I'm gonna get some lighter green here, and I will make the consistency. That consistency, by the way, was thicker, more like cream coffee. Now I'm getting more coffee tea-ish, lighter green, and we're just gonna wiggle our brush, pull out some greens, some pale, pretty chartreuse greens really quick. See, I'm kind of just making this movement, dancing on the paper, pushing down and whatnot, and adding in some of that bright green here and there. We're almost done with this lovely design, really quick. See, we want a variety of greens, dark, light. We're gonna add some more red tones and a couple of little doodad branches with some berries on them, and be done with it. So now I just pulled out some Payne's Gray. I'm gonna add a little burnt umber to that Payne's Gray, and look how nice and deep dark brown we've got, Payne's Gray and brown. Payne's Gray itself would be great to add just a few of those little, here consistency is very, very loose, almost like tea. Let's just add a little gray, kind of little stems here, a little more interest with color. So we're adding some more of this, really kind of simple stems with some leaves, just to give it a little more interest. Some grays, all that good stuff. All right, so now we're gonna grab some burnt umber. See, I'm getting it loose with this brush, and some Payne's Gray, deeper brown. I don't want to do super black for the center of the sunflowers, more of a brownish black, so I'm adding more Payne's Gray here on the ends. And again, I'll fill it in like this. I kind of always leave like a little white little highlight here, and peek it under here, go around this little petal. Just kind of fill that in. That's just something I like to do. Again, fill it in this way, leave a little white, and then go around these petals that we've kind of created. You can do a little thing where you just take the brush, just kind of wisp out a little bit of these spikes. Make it a little interesting, like it's going, or if you are painting some of this and you let it get damp, not wet, damp, and then you can put the thick paint. It will bleed a little bit and create some interest. I have tutorials on that. You can do that. And of course, it's really dark. We'll add a little bit, some of this stem, kind of going over my other stems. Just like that. Pull out a little here, and I'll put some berries on this. So you want to do some nice little fun stems, kind of on the end, because you have that deep dark color. Go over that. Just pulling out some nice stems, and give it some veins on this lovely leaf here. So you see him balancing this dark color a little bit. It's always about a balance. Your eyes moving around and seeing everything. And of course, I'll make my stem on my pumpkin a little bit darker. Make it more interest. I don't want to put a million stems, by the way. Just a few. A little curly Q come in here or something interesting. And put one over here if I put some berries in there. Okay. And right out of the tube, I have this lovely color called Pyrol Rubin. It's a lovely red. And of course, we have a yellow. So you could make just kind of almost like bittersweet, some yellowish orange. Grab some yellow right out of the tube. Tap down a little bit, wiggle. Remember we said we'd wiggle the circular motion to make a circle using this brush. Put your yellow ones in first, and then we'll go back in and we'll add some red kind of berries. This brush is not cooperating doing the circle. And if it doesn't look like a total perfect circle, no big deal. You just grab one of the other brushes that we would do that really well, which is a round. Here we go. That's better. A little looser paint. It was too thick and it was not going to do the circle for me. A little looser consistency, like coffee. Much better for this. Adding a little yellow berries here. And you can add some orange ones. And I'll go in and I'll take my pyrol Rubin, mix it with the yellow that's already on my brush. And look at that, there's a little red. Now that red's gonna pop out a little bit. Now don't do soldier berries. You wanna kind of cluster them. So, see a little cluster. Go around that yellow, cluster a few. Just making these nice little circles. Wiggling the brush in a circular motion. Get a little thicker on this paint. I love this color pyrol. It's nice, perfect, deep red. Cadmium red light is great. It's more of an orangey red. You can use some of this and put some little marks in this lovely flower here, just to give it some more value and more interest. And even just grab some of that with the orangey mixed up here. Add a little highlight on your pumpkin. See how I'm just tapping it a little bit? And there you go. So I hope this brush tutorial was fun and helpful. You can add more value to your pumpkins. Just get a little bit deeper. You don't have to. I like to play around with it a little bit more color. And same thing on the wonderful sunflower. If you felt like it was not, I would wait till that black brown dries though, because then you're going to run into a bleeding mess and we don't want that. So I'll fill it in. So if you never used a cat's tongue brush, you should try it. It's great for all these kind of scenarios, pumpkins and petals and leaves and all that good stuff. Yeah, and even like you can take this, get a little bit wetter, looser, yellow, orange, do a little splat. A little splat goes a long way. I like nothing like a little splat. It adds just a little touch of something. And we have this sweet little design. So there you go. I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have fun painting it and playing with these brushes. If you're a Patreon member, like I said, you get the extended version. If you want to be a Patreon member, click the link in the description box below to join my Patreon, where I have extended videos, exclusive videos on Thursdays, and my Patreon. It's extra content that is not on YouTube, more advanced content. Not more advanced, just more in depth than you would get on YouTube. So go check it out, and you can join and cancel anytime. And it's where you support my channel here on YouTube with all my free content, and I really appreciate it. So, and you actually, one great bonus is that you get the first dibs on my workshops and watercolor retreats, and I'll be announcing some workshops soon. All right, guys, thank you so much. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.